All right, everybody, welcome back to the Good Old Hockey Podcast. This is Sean. That's Alan right there. And if you're watching and not listening on Spotify, you probably noticed something a little different. We're not in our rooms with a janky-ass Apple camera.
Yep.
We are, in fact, in a studio I work at, SB Studios here in Boise. And we just thought, it's a little time. You got to take us serious now because we're in a studio. We have these cameras, these mics, and you got to take us serious now. So, but we've got some good stuff today. We're going to be talking about the trade deadline coming up in a couple days. But, Alan, how do you feel? How does it feel to be in the studio today? How does it feel?
I'm not going to lie. It's a little awkward. Normally, when we're doing the podcast, I have like Minecraft parkour playing underneath underneath the screen because I can't focus unless I have that.
Yeah.
I'll be, watching a YouTube video on one side.
Yeah.
So it's a little weird. It's a little bit of a change.
You're not stimulated enough?
I'm not stimulated enough. Yeah. I might start playing on my phone halfway through this.
Playing Tetris?
It's gonna start shaking. Yeah, Tetris.
Dude, yeah.
That's
I
funny.
can't believe that our generation has come to a point where we have to have like Subway Surfers just to engage everyone.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
People
won't
won't pay attention.
Honestly.
It's sad.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Listen, guys. Listen, Gen Z, whatever you are, Generation Alpha, you suck. This is unbelievable.
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah.
But outside of that, how was our week last week? We had a
lost.
heartbreaking game.
We did. That was a tough game.
Yeah. That one was not fun.
Debut of the helmet was not not work out, but it's okay.
Yeah. It'll be
It's okay. We have two more opportunities, so we're currently sitting in a playoff position. I want to say we haven't gotten the standings updated from this past week, so we don't know if the team that's chasing us is in now or if they won.
Yeah.
They could have been eliminated. This game tomorrow might be pointless, but we don't really know at this point in time.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll have to get a backup goalie in to give you some rest. Maybe.
Exactly, dude. I want to play. I want to play skater.
You should. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. But
Be embarrassing.
Yeah.
But
other than that, how was your weekend?
weekend was good. What did I do?
You just have a new schedule now.
Just change
Sunday
around my
off.
work schedule, so I have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off rather than Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which is what it was before. So it's pretty cool. Took the dog out to the park with my girlfriend and her dog, and just hung out. It was a good day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. What did I do this weekend? Oh, I went to Bogus yesterday.
How was that?
That was fun.
You go snowboarding and skiing?
Skiing, yeah.
Okay, sweet.
I haven't been skiing in probably 4 or 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
but not to brag, but us hockey players can ski pretty.
Yeah.
It transfers pretty well.
It's
an adjustment, but it's very similar to skating.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to say I'm fantastic or anything.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
ski
I'm
a whole
not
lot,
great,
but
no.
I just got my skis a few weeks ago. Went up, been skiing a couple times since, and getting the hang of it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Not too bad for somebody I've been skiing like a handful of times the last 5 years. So.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, we can hang as hockey players. We can do all.
Exactly.
Except for, I'd say baseball. Baseball's a tough sport.
I can't play baseball.
Yeah.
The last time I played baseball, Zach hit me in the face with a ball. That was like 2021. That was a long time ago.
Like wiffle ball?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That happens. All right, let's get into hockey. Okay, so I would say the biggest thing that happened within the last week was the Seth Jones trade.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the trade deadline is, you're listening to this on Wednesday. It'll be on Friday. Still up in the air. Maybe we might do a live stream for it. Maybe not. We'll see how it goes. But, so yeah, Seth Jones trade. So Jones to Florida, and Chicago actually retains 26% of the salary. And then Spencer Knight and a 2026 conditional first-round pick to the Blackhawks. What that condition is, I don't know. But Jones has 7 goals, 27 points, 42 games, minus 18, but that is with the Blackhawks. Spencer Knight, his career stats, 80 games played, 44 wins, 5 shutouts, 276 goals against, and a 900 save percentage. Noted better goalie than most goalies that Wayne Gretzky scored on.
Yes.
So.
I think it was all of them.
Yeah, the top 10, yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, what do you think I think for both these guys, I think it's a fresh start.
Mm-hmm. That's the best way you kind of describe this trade. Seth Jones, there's been a lot floating around with that guy playing like god awfully. I can't say I've tuned into a single Chicago Blackhawks game this year.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what the eye test looks like, but
Yeah.
it sounds pretty bad. That being said, we know what Seth Jones is capable of with how he played in Columbus. He was a fantastic defenseman in Columbus. They earned him a $9.5 million per year salary.
Yeah.
And he got traded, I think we were looking at this right before, for 2 first-round picks that were like top 15 first-round picks. A guy who got picked, I think it was 4th overall in, what was that, Adam Bachquist, and then another second-round pick. So, like, we know what he's capable of. He's a fantastic player when he's playing well.
Yeah. I think
fresh start for him on a good defensive team. It kind of gives him the opportunity to shine.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the Blackhawks, obviously, they're in the position they're in. And even like when he joined, that was around, they got rid of Patty Kane recently. So he hasn't had like a real chance to showcase what he's done. And I'm excited to kind of watch him with Florida. But also, I mean, I think same goes for Spencer Knight too. I mean, you're living in Bob's shadow. I think, not that I don't agree with the trade for Florida, but I think also, I always saw it as like Spencer Knight's like your future goalie. Yeah. Bob is like great as he is, but you know, he's getting up there in age and you can't keep him forever. You know, you got Matthew Tkachuk on 8 years, Barkov for probably another 6 years, or I don't know how long their contracts are, but you got these guys, your superstars, and then you also had a goalie who was, you know, destined to be great, but it just didn't turn out. And I think it's tough to live in Bob's shadow.
I think it's one of those things because he's still on his $10 million contract for another, I want to say it's this year and next season when that contract expires.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. And it's kind of difficult to justify keeping him around. Spencer Knight, he's one of those guys, when he got drafted, he had all the potential in the world. He's taken the first round as a goaltender, which is pretty uncommon. Yeah. I could think of a handful of guys over the last few years, guys that are in the NHL at this point, Jake Ottinger and Andrei Vasilevsky. Yeah. Like, those are the only guys. And Yaroslav Askarov, right?
True. Yeah.
All the potential in the world. Obviously, his career hasn't really taken off yet. He had that issue, I believe it was February of 2023, went into the player assistance program for some mental issues. Hopefully he's doing better now. Yeah. I think he is. He's back to playing in the NHL. He's got like 30-something games played this year, 20-something games. I think it is a fresh start. He's a guy who still could take off. Yeah. And he still could be one of the best goalies in the world. That's kind of how he was seen when he entered the league. Yeah. Is a future number one guy. Yeah. And now Chicago has that future number one guy, which is great for them. Yeah. I don't think his stats are going to look fantastic these next couple seasons because Chicago is terrible. Yeah. Coming from a Sharks fan, they're terrible.
Yeah, they are.
Right?
Well, they're like, we've always said, I mean, like it's great they have Bedard, stuff like that. I mean, even like we'll get into a little bit later about, oh, not really, but the Calder race just with Macklin Celebrini. We're making this conversation about the Sharks, as we always do. But you look at the Blackhawks, and it's like, yeah, they have Connor Bedard, but the Blackhawks really have only recently been somewhat rebuilding. Yeah. Because they've had, you know, Patty Kane, they had Jonathan Taves. It's been like a weird rebuild for them, and like Bedard was kind of the start of the rebuild, which is always kind of tough. Yeah. If you have like that main guy being picked first. It's like if Connor McDavid got picked. He kind of was. Yeah. The Oilers, like, the start of the rebuild.
But they had already had 4 first overall picks. Or 3 first overall picks
but
by
none
then.
of them, like, had panned out.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. But for Blackhawks, like, they're just in a weird spot with their rebuild, and it's going to suck for Bedard, but they're going to be fine, I think. The Blackhawks.
They have some other guys in the system. Frank Nazar has been playing in the NHL this year. Like, they have defensemen. They have pretty much they have like the start of everything.
They had the second pick last year.
Yeah, they have the start of everything. They just need to keep the ball rolling and keep drafting well and making some good trades. Yeah, we were talking about they've been bad for a while now. They've been bad for the last few years. Yeah, and they still haven't made any huge steps in their rebuild. It was kind of like the last couple years before Mike Greer got hired for the Sharks, like maybe it's time to move away from Kyle Davidson.
Yeah.
Because he really hasn't, besides lucking into a first overall pick, what else has he done?
Yeah. And that was, they lucked out they weren't even the first team.
No.
They were second, right?
Yeah. I want to say they were second, yeah.
Yeah. So
it's like, I don't know. I think it might be about time for them to.
Because realistically, like, he hasn't, like, you look at Mike Greer and what he's done just in his start of the rebuild, and, like, he tore the team apart, and, like, he made good trades out of it. Kyle Davidson, I don't know that you can really say, maybe this one.
We are comparing him to the gold standard, though.
True.
Right? Like, Money Mike is the gold standard for general managers in a rebuild.
Exactly.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. But, yeah, I think it could definitely be – it's up for debate, like, whether – I think you give him another year, see what he does. Trade deadline isn't over yet, so there could be more.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, if he's just going to luck out and get a first overall pick this year, then – or even second overall pick, like, he's just banking on these bad seasons. But realistically, if you give Chicago, I mean, another top two draft picks the next couple of years, I think they'll be set.
They'll be competitive again.
Yeah.
Not like they're going to be terrible forever.
No, and they're the Blackhawks, so
yeah,
it's destined. But, is that everything you have about Knight?
That is pretty much everything, yeah.
All right, well, on to the still on the Florida Panthers. Matthew Tkachuk is on LTIR after seemed like he injured himself from the Four Nations tournament. I think this is hilarious because if you've watched the pod, I was on the Panthers bandwagon last year.
Yep.
Going to be on it this year too, until the Sharks are better. But Matthew Tkachuk is probably one of my favorite players, just the way he plays. He's kind of seen as the bad guy, but like when he's on your team, you love him.
It's like Brad Marchand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If he's on your team, you love the guy. But Bill Zito said this morning, Monday, that Matthew Tkachuk is going to be out for the regular season, but he should be back in time for playoffs. So looks like they're going to be playing the LTIR game. No Mark Stone injury.
Nope.
That bring that up.
Not yet.
True. There's still a couple days left.
Not yet.
To trade deadline. But yeah, Matthew Tkachuk, he is put on LTIR. The Panthers now have $8.7 million in cap space. So some potential additions. I don't really know what could see. I think Rantanen's off the table. I kind of thought that was going to be before that Seth Jones trade. I thought they were going to try to make a push for Rantanen, but I don't think that's happening now. But I think the Panthers overall, what they could use. I mean, getting Seth Jones definitely helps them. They needed some help on defense. Already a great defensive team, but last year that was like their powerhouse.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think if they can get another like Tarasenko rental, they just have a guy like that come in for a year, I think that can help them. But it's just a matter of, really what they can afford.
I think they could absolutely use another backup goalie because they have Chris Drieger backing up Bob. And although Bob does play better in the playoffs, he still hasn't been great this year. He's kind of been showing his age a tad.
It's always nice to have.
Might be a good idea to get an upgrade over Chris Drieger.
Yeah.
No offense to him.
Who knows, though? The way we've been talking about players.
It's true.
Watch,
he's going to go off.
He's going to be a Hall of Fame goalie.
You remember Andrew Hammond back it was like 2015. He went on that insane run with the Ottawa Senators.
No,
he's going to have like one of those runs. He'll be starting goalie for the next 10 years.
It'll be like Aiden Hill, just like coming out of nowhere. The way that we jinx players all the time.
Yep.
Or just like we'll talk about a player, they get slow. Or if we shit on a player, like Mitch Marner, he then has like an insane tournament, and just ruins our lives. But
oh well,
yeah, it happens. But yeah, so hope maybe we just willed it into existence. They don't even need a backup goalie.
Yeah,
so we'll see. But
watch Mark Stone beat the allegations this year because we've been talking about it the entire time.
Honestly, yeah, he probably will. Let's see, what's today? Today is the March 3rd. 2 weeks, I think, from Thursday, I'm going to a Knights game.
Nice.
The Bruins. I'm a little torn because I don't really know who to root for. I don't love both teams. Obviously, I can't root for the Knights as a Sharks fan, so I'm gonna be wearing my Bobby Orr jersey.
Let's go Bees.
Yeah, go Bees. Kind of fun to root for them. I mean, I usually have a bunch of. I don't really hate the Bruins. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't hate a lot of teams.
That's a team that is due for a rebuild.
That too.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the Bees need. I mean, obviously, Pasta's pretty young. Charlie McAvoy's sick. I don't even know if they need a rebuild. I think they could retool a little bit.
I'll put it this way. When was the last time Boston missed the playoffs? I don't even remember.
True.
And they're currently sitting 6th in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Out of 8 teams. I don't remember seeing the last time.
They're only 3 points out of wild card.
That is true. We'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah, we
but
will.
I just find that crazy.
Yeah. No, it is. All right. Let's talk Calder race.
Yeah.
So I feel like we could have called this in the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
How crazy and tight this race is.
Yeah.
3 most notable names. We'll say 4. Dustin Wolf's definitely on there. I think it's just tough as a goalie.
It really is.
To win.
Yeah.
The Calder. I think they should, if anything, have their own trophy, if that's even a thing.
Rookie goalie of the year. Something like that.
Which is tough because it's like
he's in Vezina conversation, but he's nowhere near Hellebuck. Like, that's one of those things where it's like he's kind of screwed because there's so many great rookies this year.
Yes.
And guys that are going to get a lot of recognition and more recognition than him playing in Calgary.
Yeah.
And he has basically 0 chance to win the goalie award.
Yeah.
Even though he's having a great season.
Yeah.
Just because Connor Hellebuck has been head and shoulders above everybody else in the league.
Yeah.
So it kind of sucks for him.
Yeah. And I think also, I mean, with these, like the way, I mean, at least the way Celebrini's playing, he's on pace with like how Bedard was.
Yeah.
Just tracking with points per game.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Lane Hudson has another 10 games on. Well, both him and Michikov actually have 10 games on Mac. But I mean, I think the tough part for Wolf, like you'd said, was just, I mean, unless Calgary can will them to a playoff spot, I think, and he kind of already is.
Yeah,
to be frank, like
there's nobody else on that team.
Yeah, like
Mackenzie Weegar. That's it.
Yeah, and he's like definitely willing them to a playoff spot. I just think the goalie position is just so tough to win that Calder.
Yeah,
because especially with this year, just with how many people. I mean, Mac, Hudson, and Michikov are all in that top. I think Will Smith's actually behind them.
He's like number 4,
or 5 now, maybe, depending on if the fake Logan Stankoven rookie.
Oh, God. Don't get me started. You know, I find really interesting, though. Logan Stankoven has been nowhere near as good as I think everybody thought he'd be, which is
true.
Interesting. He's not like, you're like 21, and you're competing with the guy who's 18, guy who's 19, like, with 0 pro experience. Well, I guess the 19, 20-year-old Michikov has pro experience. But, like, you played in the Stanley Cup playoffs last year. You should be there and ready to go, but he's not been as good as I would have expected.
I think also for Dallas, I mean, that's a tough roster to be the points. Like,
that is true.
If he's getting 20, I think he has like 20-something points.
Mm-hmm.
You figure you got plenty of other players that are going to be putting up numbers. So I don't know who's how.
Let's check this out. Yeah, he's got 29 points.
What rank is he on?
I can't pull that up on the app. 29 points in 57 games plus 2. This isn't been bad. He's probably playing on their 3rd line, which is like understandable because they have such a good team.
Exactly, yeah.
But Mason Marchment has more points than you. Like, that's kind of an issue. When you were seen to be coming in and leading rookies in points.
I think. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we're going to be a little biased here and say Mac's going to win it, but I think there's a legitimate. I mean,
I think statistically it makes sense.
It does. He's a favorite in all the betting apps.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not like we're saying things out of our ass to say that Matt. If I were to say Will Smith were to win the Calder because I like him the best, that I would admit is being a little biased.
Listen, he's American and he's a rookie on the Sharks. He's going to win the Calder.
And he has a sick number 2.
He does.
Who's number 2?
Nobody.
Brian Leach is the only other one.
That's nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty number.
Yeah.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
He's been playing great as of late, too.
He has, I saw a stat. I don't know if I can pull it up, but I think since the new year, him and Mac have been like almost at par.
Yeah.
I think Smith had a rough start, but
Yeah.
Macklin Celebrini obviously could glaze him for the next hour and a half if we wanted to.
I would love to.
Yeah, we already kind of have in certain episodes.
We should make a podcast where we just talk about Macklin Celebrini for an hour and a half.
Talking Macklin Celebrini. That would be kind of fun.
I'm down.
I'm so down. But yeah, I mean, I think any of these guys, this rookie class is insane just to start, I mean, with everyone. But Hudson's got 42 assists, which is damn impressive.
Yeah.
4 goals, 42 assists. Michkov has 19 goals, so he's leading in rookie goals. And then Mac is... The thing for Mac is the less games played. If he had as much as them, maybe he would have similar points. Maybe not. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's all
I don't think he's going scoreless in 10 games, frankly.
No, that's
he
fair.
might.
Yeah.
I mean, rookies sometimes go through tough slumps, but he's currently on pace for 73 points in a full season.
Exactly.
Which neither of the other guys are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think I want to say he's head and shoulders above everybody else. I don't think he's head and shoulders, but like you watch him play, he looks at home.
Yeah. Well, he's younger than them. I mean, those two guys they have like...
I think they're both 20. We'd look this up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, not that Lane Hudson had any advantage being older.
Yeah.
Michkov definitely playing in Russia with adults.
That helps.
That definitely helps you
on
get
the
adjusted.
Russian gas.
Yeah. Yeah, it just lets you get ahead. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, our pick is Mac. It's always been Mac. I would say Dustin's definitely up there.
Yep.
But again, just that goalie. I don't know the last time. Probably should look this up. I don't know the last time a goalie won the Calder.
Chris Mason in like 2009, or was it Steve Mason? I think it was Steve Mason in like 2009.
Yeah,
that's the last guy I can think of.
Who won Calder?
Yeah, who won a Calder as a goalie. Evgeny Nabokov in 2002.
Yeah,
I think 2001, one of those years.
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of
very often.
Yeah, it's tough, but all right, let's do a little standings check-in. We haven't done this in a while. Obviously, Four Nations kind of, I wouldn't say ruined it, but
threw it off.
Didn't ruin it by any means.
Yeah.
But we usually do at the beginning of the month, just a little check-in, especially with playoff. This is like the best part of the season for me. Trade deadline.
Yep.
This is where all these regular season games really matter because it's tough. Like, I don't know, like some of those beginning games is just like you're just playing.
Yeah, it's just playing to see
They're
where
to
you
watch
are.
hockey. Yeah, obviously you want to do the best you can in those 5 months, but this is like crunch time. So as of right now in the Atlantic, we got Toronto with 78 points, Florida 77, and the Lightning 74. Lightning is a new team in this mix here. They've been kind of flip-flopping the wild card spot.
They've been on a run recently.
Yeah, they have.
I want to say they're 9-0-1 in their last 10.
That's crazy.
8-game win streak.
Yeah, good for them.
That's nuts.
Yeah. And them after, it kind of seemed like last year that they were kind of falling apart just with their team.
Yep.
But being able to add Jake Gensel and
have him be a huge impact player, that helps.
And you're losing, like they lost Stamkos, they lost their captain.
Yeah.
So
Andrei Vasilevsky in the last 10 games, he's 9-0-1 with a 1.6 goals against average and 947 save percentage. He has 2 assists and 2 shutouts.
Damn.
That's quite a run. Seems like he's willing them there right now.
Yeah. As you should, like you kind of need that.
Got to score 2 goals a game and you'll win most of them. So,
yeah.
Exactly. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And then in the Metro, the Capitals in number 1, Hurricanes and Devils. Capitals are 10 points ahead of the Hurricanes, who are number 2. 84 and 74 points. So they are damn near locked in for the playoffs, I'd say.
So, real quick interruption. Going back to, I think it was our first podcast of this season.
Yeah.
A couple weeks into the season, so we had already had some games played. Yeah. I called the Washington Capitals pretenders. Washington Capitals fans, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was wrong. And I will apologize to you guys, not the Canadians, but I will apologize to the Capitals fans out there because this team is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've watched the Capitals game this year.
I haven't.
They're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun to watch. Yeah. They're fast. The team's good. You got Ovi. Whenever he scores a goal, it's electric.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, he's still scoring.
He did.
He scored against Tampa the other day.
Yeah.
So
he's 11 away.
Gross goal too. Yeah, I think he's 11 away from breaking the record.
Damn.
Which is just nuts.
Yeah. No, he's going to do it, and I think he plays the Sharks in about 10 days. So we'll see. He could get a couple, especially if Forgy is in net.
Forgy.
But yeah, so Devils dropped pretty I wouldn't say hard, but Devils were leading the Metro for a while.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on to wild card. You got the Blue Jackets and the Red Wings in spot as of right now. 68 points for the Blue Jackets, 66 points for the Red Wings. Which, by the way, did you watch the Stadium Series between them?
I did not.
Yeah, honestly, I
heard it was an electric game, though.
Yeah, I did too. I didn't expect much of it, just because it's the Blue Jackets. I didn't realize, my bad, that they were kind of on a heater right now. But 6-3-1 their last 10, and I didn't watch that game. It looked fun. Their whole intro with Johnny Gaudreau was awesome.
That game was they were destined to win that game with the family leading them out on the ice. So that was pretty sick.
Yeah, and they're in Ohio. My thing was, it's just it's not that big of a rivalry, and it's tough. I just feel like every Stadium Series game I've kind of turned into is just it's not the same.
I think they're not the Winter Classic.
No, but even the Winter Classic was kind of ass.
Yeah. They need to get some new matchups in there.
Yeah,
and again,
next year.
Yeah, next year, 2 Florida teams.
Yeah,
right. That'll be sick because Tampa's playing the Stadium Series. That's going to be in Tampa, I think.
Yeah,
and then in Orlando, I forget. But
yeah, it's they're doing it indoors.
Indoor, is that what they're doing?
Yeah, they're doing it, or not indoors, but they're doing it at the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh, okay. So the top
baseball.
Close.
Yeah, it's like a dome, so it can close if it's hot, which it probably will be in January in Florida. But
that kind of defeats the purpose of the Stadium Series.
I know, right? Well, that's what I mean. I'm like,
it's cool.
It is. I mean, if we have our first Stadium Series game, but it's indoors.
Yeah,
how is that going to work?
It's still stadium.
Yeah,
right. It'd be like if the Blue Jays hosted it. Don't they have the indoor stadium?
Yeah, they do.
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't know. Pretty interesting. Getting back real quick, Jack Hughes, did you see the play against Vegas?
We got hit?
He got hit into the boards real bad by Jack Eichel, and
he's
probably going to be injured for the rest of the season. That guy cannot catch a break.
Yeah.
Which sucks because he's nasty.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. That sucked. I'd be curious to see what happens to the rest of their season because frankly, they're kind of clinging on to a spot in that Metropolitan Division.
Yeah.
It's not looking too great for New Jersey right now.
No. And it's pretty, not tragic, but I would say tragic for them at least. I know Devils fans have been waiting for
Hughes to break out.
He had a great, he had a 99-point season a couple of years ago, but since then, there really hasn't been. He's been hurt.
Yeah.
So it's tough. But
guy's made of glass bones and paper skin.
Yeah.
Every morning he breaks his legs. Every evening he breaks his arms.
Yep. Yeah, and he's just. It's unfortunate to have that issue, and but they're still in a playoff spot right now. Hopefully they keep that, and he can maybe come back for playoffs at least. But
hopefully.
Yeah, all the other teams outside of it, though, the wild card is not locked down for those Blue Jackets or Red Wings. I think any of these 4 teams that I'm about to name could get in. So you got Ottawa Senators, 64. Rangers, 64 points. Bruins, 64 points. Montreal Canadiens, 63 points.
They've been going off, too.
They have.
They have not been bad.
No.
Which is interesting because I think they started out the year being awful.
Yes.
So good for the Canadians.
They're close to 500 win percentage. But, I think, again, all this difference is within 4 points, which is like 2 games.
Yeah.
Where these teams, someone loses 2 games, someone wins 2 games, and it's all shooken up. But
really up in the air.
Ottawa's an interesting one, too, because I feel like for the sake of Brady Tkachuk, them keeping Brady Tkachuk, they need this push, and they need to make playoffs.
Yeah.
before he gets frustrated. Obviously, he's a captain and probably loves it there, but I mean, they've always had like a solid. I mean, they got Olmark in net.
Yeah.
They have a solid team. They just can never get out of the bottom.
Yep. And it's been like that since 2017, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pretty interesting. I would love to see Brady Tkachuk in the playoffs.
I would too. We've never seen it.
Never seen him.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd be electric.
Mm-hmm.
Probably will him to at least a series win or something.
Yeah.
But
I mean, look what he did. 4 Nations. He's the same shit, and he's
nasty.
Yeah, but also the Rangers. You know, they've kind of had they had a very rough start.
Yep.
And still are kind of rough. But I think this JT Miller trade changed everything for them because he's got more points than Elias Pettersson has shots on goal.
That's crazy.
He's embarrassing.
That's a crazy stat.
Yeah. But, I mean, we said this. When Vancouver traded JT Miller, it's like you just got rid of a 100-point scorer for a locker room dispute between him and Elias Pettersson.
Which it sounded like that the Vancouver Canucks locker room was saying that they traded the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't seem like – I almost wonder if Quinn Hughes is more of a fan of Elias Pettersson than
maybe.
Because I could see you wanting to keep Quinn around, not go to the Devils to play with his brothers, so –
yeah,
the only way to do that is
fair.
keep your friend. Seems like they're good friends, but
yeah,
I don't know.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, because I'm sure there's outside external reasons for that, but still, just to give up a player like that, and I forget their return was not Filipino and
Filipino.
Did they get like a first?
No, I think it was a second round pick.
Yeah, so Vancouver, you screwed the pooch, but we'll see where they are in the standings.
Yep.
I know they're outside a wild card right now. All right, so on to the West Central. We got the Winnipeg Jets, top of the league actually, 88 points. So they're 4 points ahead of Washington, who's second. Winnipeg Jets in the Central, Dallas Stars with 80 points, Minnesota Wild with 74 points. So there's a pretty big gap here between all three of those teams. Winnipeg, I think, is locking down, but I'm never sold on them.
Yeah.
Never sold.
Although I will have to say, I think the issue the last few years has been their goaltending in the playoffs, right? Connor Hellebuck, he's been the best goalie in the league for like the last 4 seasons, pretty much.
Yeah.
But he hasn't shown up in the playoffs. He had that awful series against Colorado last year where, frankly, the entire team played like crap. But
yeah.
I think every game, Colorado scored 5+ goals every game, which was just awful. Even in Winnipeg's one win, I think it was like 7-6.
Yeah,
which is crazy. 80s hockey, but I don't know. He played great in the World Cup of Hockey, not the World Cup of Hockey, Four Nations tournament.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think this might actually be the year where they put it together. They look like a powerhouse of a team.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't not be a powerhouse when you have 19 losses and we're at the trade deadline.
Yeah, no, it's very fair.
Which is kind of nuts. I highly doubt they'll lose again this week.
Yeah.
They're on a run right now. They're 8-1-1 in their last 10. They did just lose a game in overtime, but they're hot. They're hot at the right time of year.
Yeah.
So if they can keep that going, they've been hot all season.
Yeah, they have. But even like they were top of the Central last year, or were they second? They played Colorado first round, right?
Yeah, Colorado, because Colorado was in the wild card.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, they were top of the league.
I forget.
Yeah,
I think they were. I think they were like top of the league because Colorado had a weird season last year.
Regardless, the Jets have always been hot.
Yeah.
In the regular season, they've been a good team. Hellebuck won Vezina last year.
Yeah.
So obviously a great goalie, but again, that I need to see it from him.
Yeah.
If he shows up in playoffs, I can believe in them. But it's like the Maple Leafs. Until that happens, till they get past the second round, let's say now, I can't believe in them. It's nothing against them. I mean, it's everything against them. But I just can't watching the Sharks as a kid growing up, and just never seeing much past the second round.
Yeah.
No matter how good you do in the regular season, the playoffs are a different beast. I don't know if it's their style of play that just doesn't translate well to the playoffs.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of a fast run and gun type of hockey team. They're at their best when Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele can skate.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it just won't translate. Who
Maybe.
knows?
Yeah. But onto the well, okay. Actually, first, Minnesota Wild sneaking in. Because they started pretty hot, and how's their last 10 been? 5-5 in the last 10.
Yeah.
They started really hot. I want to say, was it Philip Gustafson that was? Or no.
He was
He was on fire.
insane.
Yeah.
He was playing insane. He was up there. I remember like 2 months into the season, he was up there with Connor Hellebuck's stats were like almost identical.
Yeah.
But I think he's come back down to earth a little bit. Let me look at standings real quick. His stats real quick.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely come back down to earth. At least from where he was at the beginning of the season. He's not on top 5 in any save percentage or goals against. He's 6th in save percentage. Real quick, looking at the goalie stats, Mackenzie Blackwood is 5th in save percentage in the league right now with 916. Yeah. Let's go.
So proud of him.
I have been saying that guy's been elite for like years now.
Yeah.
I love Mackenzie Blackwood. That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you, bro.
Yeah. No, I mean, as much as I'd love him to be on the Sharks and be with us through the rebuild, I think with where he's at in age and he can really get somewhere far. And I think, Colorado's now they're in a wild card spot still.
Yep.
And I think Colorado's issue, as well as Georgiev did that playoff run, after that, like we're Sharks fans. We know how he is. Now, if we get your pain. Yeah, Georgiev. Doesn't help that, he's in front of the Sharks defense, whereas Colorado's defense is probably a lot better. But for Mackenzie Blackwood, that's a big upgrade for him. And being able to kind of showcase. He was on the Devils when they were kind of struggling.
Yeah, when they had all the offensive talent in the world, but none of the defensive
exactly.
talent.
And he was not really young, but he was a lot younger at the time. Yeah. And then he's on the San Jose Sharks for the last couple of years.
Yep.
So it's like he hasn't been given a fair shot. And it's good to see from him. That's awesome. And then in the Pacific, got the Knights atop the Pacific as always. Knights, Edmonton 4 points behind them in second, and the Kings 4 points behind the Oilers in third. And then Calgary's sneaking in wild card as of right now, 65 points. For the Pacific, we said this at the beginning of the year, weakest division.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
It has us in it.
2 teams. That's about it.
Yeah.
The
Kraken, Ducks, and Sharks are just... Ducks... No, the Ducks are not going to make the playoffs. They could, but they're not.
Yep. I find it interesting. The East, it seems like, is a lot closer of a race between everybody than the West is. Like, if you think about it, see, Tampa and New Jersey are in third in their respective divisions.
Yeah.
They're 8 points above wild card seeding, right? Yeah. New Jersey could be a wild card team. They're 4 points out of the Blue Jackets. It seems like that is a lot closer than like Minnesota and Vancouver.
Yeah.
Even though I think that it's technically closer between Minnesota and Vancouver, it's just there's a lot bigger of a gap.
Yeah.
You have a ton of teams in the low to mid 60s in points, and then Colorado's at 72 in the second wild card spot.
Yeah.
And the Kings are at 70. It's like it just seems a lot more wide open. Like probably that second wild card spot could be one of 4 or 5 teams.
Yeah.
Could be Calgary, could be Vancouver, could be St. Louis, could be Utah.
Yeah.
Right? But then the rest, it's probably locked down.
Yeah.
Which I find really interesting. I guess LA could go on like just a heater of losing games, but they're 5 points out of a wild card spot with 2 games at hand.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. Just seems a lot more wide open, especially if you look at the points percentage.
Yeah, that too. I mean, the Avalanche are in a wild card spot, but they have more points than the Kings.
Yeah.
Only by 2 points. But it's just stuff like that where, I mean, even 70 points, would they even be anywhere in the East? They wouldn't, 70 points wouldn't get them anything in the Metro or Atlantic.
Yeah.
For the Kings. So it's just, I mean, it's tough when legitimately your only 4 teams in that division are the Knights, Oilers, and Kings.
Yeah.
And Flames. Like, those are the only realistic shot that you have
Yeah.
at playoffs. So it's like,
it's pretty interesting. But I don't know. The West the past few years has kind of sucked.
Yeah.
It's kind of been mediocre.
Yeah.
It seems like it's the same teams we're seeing year in, year out make the playoffs. And I can guarantee, let's see, who made the playoffs last year over Calgary? Was it Vancouver?
Yeah, Vancouver. Everyone else, the Kings were in it because they always play Edmonton.
Vancouver gets 1 more point than Calgary in the last 22 games, and it's the exact same teams that we saw last season make the playoffs.
True, yeah.
Whereas there's definitely some difference in the East. You have Columbus and Detroit.
And it's a lot tighter, too. I mean, the Montreal Canadiens are potentially fighting for
a playoff
spot.
Which is they're only 3 points out.
And they're 6.
Even you look at like New York, the Islanders, they are 5 points out of the playoffs, and they're the 3rd worst team in the conference.
Yeah.
That's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
There's a huge drop off between the last place team in the East and the last place team in the West. 14-point drop off.
So the Sabres have 53 points, last team in the East, and the Sharks have 39 points. The Blackhawks have 43. The Preds have 49. So it's like, it's all super tight. And even, I mean, let's just see. So Montreal Canadiens are 6th in wild card right now, and they have a fighting chance. They're at 63 points. You could even say Philly and the Islanders, 61 points. They are 5 points out.
Yep.
That is the 8th place team in the wild card on the East. In the West, for the 8th place team is the Nashville Predators with 49 points, and they are 16 points away.
Yeah.
So it
huge
is
drop off.
Yeah, it's just a big race out of the East, and it's been like that. I feel like for the last couple seasons.
Yep.
And I think the East is just stronger.
What happened to Buffalo? That's crazy. They started off well.
They did.
And they started off awfully, then they got hot, and they were pretty good for a while. I know Tage Thompson's back to doing Tage Thompson things.
Yeah.
But.
I mean, Buffalo has a lot of, I don't even want to say issues, because like they have, I want to say, a solid team.
I think they do.
They got Jeff Skinner, which was a huge ad. But I don't even know how he's doing this year. But yeah, I mean, I think the Sabres, it's just one of those teams where it's like, it's just not clicking. And I think the Canadiens had kind of been in this spot that the Sabres are in now.
Yeah.
Because the Canadiens have always had a solid roster, maybe not a playoff destined team, but they've always had a solid roster. It seems like it's finally clicking for them, especially watching that game that they played against the Sharks, which Cole Caulfield, you are an insane man.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
He's so gross.
Oh, my God.
And I know that we were saying that Macklin Celebrini plays better defense than Lane Hudson. Obviously, he got walked by
oh my God,
Cole Caulfield.
Bad. It's going to happen.
You're going to get – it's Cole Caulfield. You're going to get walked by him.
You're a forward back on defense. Like, it's going to happen.
It's Cole Caulfield in 3-on-3 hockey, mind you, too.
Yep.
So defense is a little different. It's not the same game. But, yeah, Cole Caulfield is a beast. Don't know why we didn't take him to Four Nations. I'm sure he'll be there for the Olympics, but – I hope so.
Freaking hope so.
Yeah. He's gross.
Geez.
He was my pick for what's it called? Rocket Richard Trophy. It's gonna be Leon. He's like 9 goals ahead of number 2.
Yeah.
But Cole Caulfield's at 29 goals.
Goal Caulfield.
And the joke is always he's the greatest 40-goal scorer to never score 40 goals. Could this be the year that he finally gets 40 goals?
This could be the year.
I think it is. He's got, 20 games left? He's got to score 11 goals. I think that's really doable for him, especially if they're fighting for a playoff spot and they need him to produce.
Funny little stat here. So, I believe besides Mark Scheifele, right? Everybody on the top goals list down to top 10, everybody on the top 10 goals list is under the age of 30, right? Mark Scheifele is 31. Then you have Alex Ovechkin, who's 39, right?
Yeah.
And he's tied for 5th in goals right now, which is just nuts. That guy's awesome. I love him to death. He's amazing. I saw a really funny stat I wanted to bring up today.
Yeah.
That is completely unrelated to this, but the New York Rangers traded away Ryan Lindgren. This marks the first time since Henrik Lundqvist was a rookie. Jaromir Jagr was the team leader in points that the New York Rangers have not had a Ryan on their team.
Oh, I saw that.
Which is really weird.
Yeah.
They're going to be getting Ryan Leonard in here pretty soon, so that's not
Capitals.
Ryan Leonard.
Ryan.
That was somebody else. I don't know.
I think Gabe Perreault, maybe.
No, there's somebody. There's somebody named Ryan come through the system. Why am I forgetting?
So how many years have they had?
That's like 20-some years.
Damn.
That's
crazy.
Had Ryan Callahan. They had Ryan McDonough. They have Ryan Strome.
Yeah.
They've had all these guys at the years, and then Ryan Lindgren. They have not had a Ryan on their team since like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I think it was 2004, 2005. Or no, it would have been 05, 06. Yeah. Either way.
Yeah.
That's just funny.
Yeah.
I saw that stat that made me crack up. I was like, what on earth?
What's funny is like, I guarantee you it's like kind of an ESPN stat. Like,
it's
those like
extremely
LeBron
ESPN stat.
ESPN stats. There was one the other day for the Sharks game. I think the biggest thing for that is because of the technology we have now.
Yep.
And like you could ask ChatGPT what's an obscure stat in the NHL, and it's like Will Smith is the first rookie. Like they have, I don't know how they find it, but it's like, yeah, Will Smith. This was the stat. It was like Will Smith is the first rookie on the Sharks to score 2 points or have a goal and assist in Montreal.
Yeah.
I was like, sick.
It's great. Fantastic like, statistic.
Okay.
Wow.
Cool. Because Montreal's tough to play in, maybe, but I still don't think
No. You texted me about that. I thought that was hilarious. I'm like,
it's just those ESPN LeBron stats. Like LeBron is the first 40-year-old male to score when it's 65 degrees out in LA with the wind chill being at +5 degrees.
Like, it's like
so
what?
Stupid, yeah. But
this is funny.
Yeah. Last thing we can kind of check on is the awards. Most points right now, Nathan MacKinnon with 91.
Yep.
Leon Draisaitl not far behind with 90. Kucherov sneaking up again, 87 points. He's always sneaky just in that conversation of...
Nobody pays attention to him. I think it's just because of the type of player he is.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't really do anything that's, like, insanely flashy. Obviously, Leon, although I hate him, is always scoring goals from the goal line and doing shit like that.
Nathan MacKinnon's fast. Yeah.
Nathan MacKinnon's fast
Kucherov's he's a Russian hockey player.
He just plays hockey.
Yeah.
And he's always up there in points. He's going to be one of those guys who goes down. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be seen as one of the greatest to ever do it, which is crazy because even in our day and time, you think of the top 3 players in the NHL, you're really not thinking about Kuch, but he's consistently one of the best, if not the best players.
No, exactly.
Which is crazy. Sorry, Nikita Kucherov. Like, we don't notice you.
Yeah, we don't.
You're sick.
Yeah, he is. And then Leon is leading in goals as well. 44 goals, like I said earlier. Nylander, 35. I think your slander before the season was a little unwarranted, but hey, that's why we're here. He's had to pick up the load. McDavid has not been, well, he's got 75 points, but he's not been normal McDavid self. He was also injured for a bit, so it happens.
Yep.
For defensemen, who's leading the league right now in defensemen? Let's see. As of right now, the leader is probably, Cale Makar. Tied for 15th, though, overall.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's going to win the Norris, which is a throwaway trophy, I believe.
You want to hear something absolutely insane?
What?
So I was just looking through the different stats. Leader in plus minus, right? Kirill Marchenko, he's having a great season. Ryan McDonough is a plus 35, which that surprised me.
Nice.
Gustav Forsling is up there again, plus 31.
Of course.
You go into his NHL.com stats page. Over his career, he's a plus 156 in 458 games, right?
Wow.
You go to the best player in the world and the best player in the world for the last 10 years, right? Connor McDavid. Keep in mind, he had a 156-point season, right?
Yeah.
His career plus minus is 152.
Wow.
Gustav Forsling has a better plus minus than Connor McDavid, which is insane because Connor McDavid has 1,000 points in under 700 games.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
That's just freaking nutty to me. He's so good. And it's not like You think of Gustav Forsling, it's not like he's putting up a ton of points. And I know
No.
plus minus,
Yeah,
weird stat.
Yeah.
Not the greatest thing. Ryan McDonough would tell you that he's the best defenseman in the NHL.
Yeah.
Which is untrue. But
it's an important stat, though. I mean, especially if you have a bad plus minus,
yeah,
that's more well, I mean, I'd say a good plus minus too is like shows that you're a great defenseman. And Gustav Forsling, all of last playoffs, we were watching like highlights of his defensive play. But
last 5 years,
he's not going to get any recognition for it because him and Natchez, they're just not, or not Natchez, him and Slavin are just not going to get recognition.
The last 5 years of his career, his worst season plus minus wise was in the 2020-2021. I believe that was the COVID shortened year.
Yeah.
He was a plus 17 in 43 games. Then he was a plus 41 in 71 games. He was a plus 19 in 82. He's plus 56 last year in 79 games, and plus 31 in 61 games this year. It's just insane. Yeah. Plus 156. Wonder what the greatest career all-time plus minus is. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Talk about it in next week's pod.
Yeah, I mean, these points, 91 points in 60 games.
Yep.
So he's going to be on pace for what, 120 again?
Something like that.
Ish.
Also, just looking now, just talk about how crazy that is. Ryan McDonough is a plus 281 in 987 games, which Ryan McDonough was fantastic for a lot of years, right? He was one of the best defensemen for a lot of years in his career. Looking at it now, he's never had a season with a negative plus minus.
See, I think even
it's just insane.
Let's say even they take out you don't necessarily do because I'd love to see like a defensive defenseman award.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. But realistically, like, how do you judge that? I think what could be cool is doing like an all defense, like the NBA does this all defensive team, like first team, second team.
Yeah.
They could do these like teams to give some recognition to these defensive players. Cause like that would then open it up, not just for defensemen, but also like defensive centers.
I think you could have it as a player vote, kind of like the Ted Lindsay.
Yeah.
Because the players know who's good and who's bad, right?
Yeah.
They'll tell you. The players have been saying for years that Jacob Slavin's one of the best defensemen in the NHL. He's the hardest to play against.
Yeah.
You could have something like that where they'd say, because they know Connor McDavid's the best player in the world, right?
Yeah.
He wins the Ted Lindsay, it seems like, every goddamn year.
Yeah.
So you could have something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a hard stat to judge. Yeah. There's no stat behind it.
That's why if you give them like a full team, you get 3 forwards and 2 defensemen who just like a defensive team, like all defensive, first all NHL defensive team. And you got 5 players. You got Slavin, you get Gustav Forsling, and then you can put some forwards in there. Macklin, Celebrini. No. But like just players like that where
I agree.
Barkov, great defensive center. Like put him at center and you can put 2 wingers. It just opens up a little bit more recognition for these players. And maybe the NHL doesn't really give a shit about player. I don't think the players really give a shit about player recognition. It's more for us, the fans, that want to recognize these players. But it'd still be an honor for them. But I don't think that these players are pushing for any accolades, any additional.
They really care.
They don't care. Yeah, the NHL awards are
Jacob Slavin. Oh, I'm the best defenseman in the NHL. It's okay.
Cool. I want a Stanley Cup. I don't care about anything else.
I play on Carolina. I've been bounced in the first, second round the last 10 years.
Dude, yeah. Sucks for them. But
it's interesting.
Yeah. So we got an interesting week. I think the trade deadline, we had a huge blockbuster with Rantanen, but I think he's going to get traded again.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know where, or I don't know how.
Playing like garbage in Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's tough to go to any new team.
Yeah.
Always.
Natchez is over a point per game, though. I think I saw he's got like 12 points in 11 games last time I checked the stats, and Rantanen had 3 points in like 13 games.
Yeah. Is Natchez playing with...
He's playing with McKinnon.
Yeah.
But
so
it's going to happen.
Yeah,
right?
it's going to happen.
Give the puck to McKinnon, good things will happen. But, but at the same time, it's just like, it's really interesting to see that because Rantanen's one of those guys, again, last, 4 or 5 years, he's like 3rd in points.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that. He's up there top 5 in points for the last few years.
Yeah.
So to see a drop off like this just because you're not playing with McKinnon is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But just shows how great McKinnon is.
Yeah.
That guy's nasty.
No, he is. He's willing. I mean, yeah, he's, like we said, the second best. Well, we could make an argument. Maybe we will in the offseason about who's better, McKinnon or McDavid. I mean,
I think there is an argument.
Yeah.
Like, frankly,
he's playing better.
McKinnon's been better the last 2 seasons, and he is again this year.
Yeah. It's a
At least
serious.
if you look at points, which those guys are on the ice to put up points. They're not there to play defense.
Yeah.
You don't pick up McDavid for his stick checking
ability.
ability.
If McDavid was playing more defense or more of a defensive game, then maybe I'd say like, well, he's more well-rounded, blah, 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 but he's not.
Yep.
So that's where I'm like, McKinnon is not far off of McDavid.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got a game tomorrow, pushing for playoffs in Beer League. Hopefully we get it. We need to win tomorrow. We need some victory chicken. We can't have depression chicken.
Hell yeah. Depression. Done with depression chicken.
Yeah. And we go to B-dubs after every game. So we need victory chicken, which is necessity, and it will be coming up. But hope you guys enjoyed that episode. If you're watching on YouTube, hope you enjoyed our beautiful faces in HD now. See Alan's mustache and all.
You can actually see my face now. It's not pixelated.
Exactly. And look, we got all that. But we'll see you guys next week. Possibly, well, check the Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Make sure you're subscribed too. We got a lot of views on our last video talking about the Four Nations, I think, because a lot of you Canadians wanted to make fun of us. But, we deserved it. We talked a lot of shit. But, other than that, we'll see you guys next week. And we'll be breaking down all the shit that happens over the week I'm sure there'll be more trades. But we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Peace.